Of all the auto brands on the road today, only one has been named the best auto brand for 6 straight years. That brand is Mazda. Come shop and save on the award-winning lineup of new Mazdas right now at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping that all is well with you and yours in this world today as we work our way through the second day of yet another work week. Marty, I am assuming that I'm simply seeing something, but we're good? Okay, fantastic. To start today's show, I need to revisit a couple of issues that we did not have the opportunity yesterday to deal with. Charge it to my head, not to my heart. Both of them are very noteworthy incidents, and both of them involve sadness for the families involved. Obviously, those of us in conservative media, talk radio, talk TV, immensely saddened by the passing last week of Rush Limbaugh. 32 years on the microphone, 70 years of age, and touched more listeners than maybe anybody in the history of the medium in this country as far as a daily basis is concerned. Some 15 million people tuning in every single day to listen to one guy. That is yet another patch in the cloth, the fabric, if you will, of what makes this country so great. If an individual finds him or herself in the right place at the right time, they have prepared themselves adequately and are ready to take advantage of, in his famous words, talents on loan from God. Got to put the final emphasis, not God, God. If you fulfill those commitments, the sky's the limit. And while I never had the opportunity to meet Rush, our careers were somewhat intertwined. For example, 10 years of hosting my radio show on WJBO, 1150 AM here in Baton Rouge. My show immediately preceded the Rush Limbaugh show. So every day I was the recipient of part of his massive audience. When I started in talk radio, he was well established. It was the most listened to show in all of America at the time. So obviously, I was totally enamored to have my show butt directly up against his. People would listen to Rush regularly, and then when they realized, wait, here's a guy that thinks just like Rush. He's a local guy. Maybe we ought to give him a listen. So I was the beneficiary for the better part of a decade of his popularity and his approach to broadcasting and to life. Of course, now after that 10 years, I moved across town to the competition, to Talk 107.3 and Guarantee Broadcasting. And at that time, I went head to head with Rush. We were both on at the same time, starting and ending. And while I managed in a startup operation to somewhat hold my own, I took a regular butt whipping from Rush. But that was to be expected. I mean, the guy's got 15 million listeners. He's been on air for 32 years. You expect to get the royal beatdown. But the thing that really enamored me to Rush, and this may sound a little strange initially, because when you think of Rush Limbaugh, unless you think in certain terms, you don't think cool, C-O-O-L. The things that enamored me to Rush, he made it cool to be patriotic again. Rush Limbaugh made it cool to love your country again. Rush Limbaugh made it cool to have your own opinion, not what the media fed you, not what the politicians fed you, but after doing your due diligence, employing your own powers of deductive reasoning, having your own opinion. He made that cool again. He also made it cool again to believe in American exceptionalism. Yeah, I said it. I said those dirty words, American exceptionalism. Only a fool or someone who is engaging in the exercise of purposely closing their eyes would not want to recognize the greatness and the exceptionalism that exists in this country, due in large part to God's blessing, due in large part to the freedoms and liberties bestowed upon us. But he made it cool to believe again in American exceptionalism. Gone, but certainly not forgotten, a voice that will never be silenced. And hopefully, now that that daily voice is there no longer, conservatives will realize, as we wait for a, quote, replacement, someone to take up the mantle, in the meantime, maybe it's important that we as conservatives talk to our fellow Americans as individuals and continue to keep that message alive. A little closer to home. We now know that we may not ever find out exactly what was going on with Jamal Williams and this horrific shootout at the Jefferson Gun Outlet. After initial reports and initial reactions from the family, we're now finding out this was not a guy that had a real long, extensive rap sheet. You know, the kind of individual that you could, in the quietness of your home, say, yeah, I saw this coming. I figured, you know, the path that this guy was on, it was just a matter of time before he ended up doing something like this. This guy didn't fit that bill. He had some interaction with the criminal justice system, but certainly nothing anywhere near something that would explain what happened. His brother quoted as saying, I think he just snapped. And as sad a commentary as it is, in today's COVID-19, rampant unemployment, rampant uncertainty in our society on a day-to-day basis, it could have been the most innocent of things to trigger it. It is something that, according to Sheriff Lapinto, we may never know. And after the initial reaction from the family, they are now expressing condolences to the innocent individuals who were harmed and or killed by Mr. Williams. It is something that, in many cases, unless you've been there and done that, it's hard for us to understand how a family feels knowing innocent people lost their lives at the hands of one of your loved ones. It's something that unless you've been there and done that, you know, we all may say, well, I know what I would do. I know what I would say. Well, maybe not, unless you've been there and done that. It is a horrifically sad situation all the way around. And, you know, typically we like to think, quote, there had to have been some signs somewhere. Maybe not. You've heard the old adage ad nauseum. You never know what goes on behind closed doors. Conversely, you never know what's going on in the back of someone's mind. And it just seems like more so than ever these days, the possibility of you being in the wrong place at the wrong time becomes more and more prevalent with every passing day. If you are, by chance, a member of the community of faith, I know that they would not mind in the least if you were to keep these innocent lives lost and their families in your thoughts and your prayers, as well as the family of Jamal Williams, who are now shouldering a burden that, if you follow conventional wisdom, they had no idea was looming just around the corner. I have my first break of this hour breathing down my neck. But when we come back, white people, I need a favor. I am coming to you, viewer to viewer, American to American, Clarence to white people. I need a big favor from y'all. Let me get this out of the way. You got to come back to find out what it is. That's up next on the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Team Honda wants to thank you for once again making us Louisiana's #1 new car dealer by offering you never-before-seen savings. For the first time ever, get 0% financing up to 60 months on some of your favorite Honda models. Get thousands in savings right now at Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bud Show. All the way, Marty, all the way to this one, all right? All right. If you were with us as we headed into the last break, or if you are just joining us, I mentioned that I need a favor from white people, a desperate favor. I am literally on bended knee. Let me explain. White people / white liberals, white progressives. Stop it. Just stop it. You apparently think you're doing something really, really good. You're just making it worse. All of this diversity, inclusion, the list goes on. Stop it. Just stop it. You're making it worse. Coca-Cola, I'm sure you've heard the story by now, comes out with a course entitled Confronting Racism from left-leaning Robin DiAngelo. Quote, in the U.S. and other Western nations, white people are socialized to feel that they are inherently superior because they're white. Research shows that by age 3 to 4, children understand that it's better to be white. Stop it. Just stop it. Remember when we were kids, boomers, and you and your sibling, friend, whatever, y'all were arguing about whatever, and mom or dad would say, all right, stop that. Y'all kept on. A little later on, y'all better stop that. Then a little later on, you'd hear, stop it. Just stop it. You knew what was coming next after that if you didn't stop, right? White people, you're making it worse. You are making it worse. You can lead the horse to water, but if you stick that horse's head in the water in an attempt to force him to drink, all you're going to do is drown the horse, bruh. All you're going to do is succeed in drowning the horse. In this presentation to Coca-Cola employees, they listed things employees can do to be less white. They include be less oppressive, be less arrogant, be more humble, listen, believe, break with apathy, break with white solidarity, try to be less white. Can you imagine what the backlash would be if Coca-Cola or any other major conglomerate came out with a lecture exhorting their black employees to be less black? Can you imagine what the outcry would be? Meanwhile, Disney, stop it, white people, just stop it. Disney comes out now with disclaimers for the Muppets, claiming that, we have engaged in unfair, stereotypical depictions of cultures and people. But instead of doing away with it, we want to bring recognition to the fact so that we can do better in the future. It's the freaking Muppets. That says more about you than it does about the Muppets. Where have we arrived in this country where you need a disclaimer before watching the freaking Muppets? Of course, now, if that weren't bad enough, white liberals, progressives, in an attempt to help us once again, have now come out. And ironically, I didn't get to this yesterday, but enter the halls of academia, the best and the brightest minds in America. Harvard University. Oh, for academians, just the mere utterance of the name Harvard brings a chill to your spine. It's actually something else, but I can't tell you about what that is because it's a family show. Harvard has now come out with the results of their study that shows how reparations for slavery could have reduced transmission of the coronavirus and the high death rate among people of color. The study from Harvard found that a, quote, restitutive program targeted towards black individuals would not only decrease COVID-19 risk for recipients of the wealth redistribution, the mitigating effects would also be distributed across racial groups benefiting the population at large. Now this comes, of all places, from Harvard. Stop it. Just stop it. White people, I beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of God, stop it. You're just making it worse. I had an interesting conversation with a guy this week, and you could literally see the lights coming on in his head. Now, this didn't happen initially when I made the statement that I'm about to make, because some of y'all are going to get mad, but that's all right. You'll get over it. You're a big boy. You're a big girl. Put your big boy britches on. You'll get over it. In this country, separate but equal is unconstitutional. The highest court in the land has ruled, if you remember, Brown versus Board of Education. Think back to your grade school days. Brown v. Board of Education. It established in this country you cannot have, this is for black people, this is for white people. We're going to make sure they're equal, but this is for y'all, this is for us. That's unconstitutional. Here we are in the midst of Black History Month. I got a problem with this. Now, Clarence, wait a minute. You know good and well black folks were not represented in history and books in schools the way they should be. I'll grant you that. But that's where the fight needs to be. The fight needs to be in making sure there is equal representation in the textbooks, in the education system, but you don't make us separate. I can never be equal as long as I am separate. That's not how this country works. It flies in the face, which is why the Supreme Court ruled the way they did, Brown v. Board of Education, You cannot be equal if you are separate. But the media, the politicians, those with an agenda, the race hustlers, the money pimps, the race pimps, they have convinced us now. Oh, well, you need to have your own. You know what that says subliminally to a black child? Your contributions aren't worthy of being included with everybody else. We need to have something special for y'all. I'm an American. End of discussion. And my history is American history. It ain't black history. It's American history. Again, if you got a problem with this, then start lobbying your school board. You got a problem with this? Start lobbying your congressperson. For God's sake, y'all, we went through a whole freaking movement, civil rights, so we could be considered equal. Separate but equal does not work. Separate but equal is unconstitutional. And as long as you cast me in the light of being separate, I can never be equal. And yet, white liberals, progressives, stop it. I'm supposed to feel that you did me this huge favor by giving me Black History Month. Well, what about the other 11 months of the year? My history doesn't matter then? Again, your fight is not to be separate. The fight is to be equal. And if I'm going to be equal, I can't be separate. Because for me to be separate, my separatism comes at the expense of somebody else. That's not America, y'all. That ain't how this horse is supposed to trot. It's not. And the sooner we realize this, wake up and demand change for the better off we're all gonna be. Y'all can get mad if you want. Ain't the first time I said something that's gonna piss you off, and it ain't gonna be the last. But you know what? Had an interesting conversation the other day with a very dear friend that told me, said, man, I was watching you. When I watch you, sometimes I have to reach for the remote, click, and then I come back. I said, why is that? And said, well, the things you say, as mad as they make me sometimes, after I think about it, all you did was tell me the truth. See, that's the good thing about telling the truth. You don't ever have to remember what you said. You don't ever have to worry about how you feel, as long as it's the truth. The truth is what the truth is. Doesn't matter who tells it to you. Doesn't matter what they look like. Doesn't matter who they want for president. If it's the truth, it's the truth. And the fact of the matter is, unquestionably, irrevocably, hands down, you cannot be separate and be equal. End of discussion. Final break of today's show. Come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and we'll wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, right where you got it, only on the Pelican. Stay close. Stop it! Just stop it!
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Jaguar Nation, we need your help in masking up Louisiana.
Masks help us slow the spread of COVID-19.
During this time, we must continue to wear a mask, wash our hands, and practice social distancing.
It's important that we continue to abide by the CDC's guidelines to stop the spread.
Jaguar Nation, we challenge you to mask up.
Go Jags!
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
On January 26, 2021, respectively, Pelican Broadcasting Network, LLC, licensee of KPBN LD, Channel 14, RF Channel 14.2, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, filed an application with the Federal Communications Commission for renewal of its broadcast license. Members of the public wishing to view this application or obtain information about how to file comments and petitions on the application can visit www.fcc.gov/station search and search in the list of KPBN LD's filed applications. Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bud Show. Stop it! Just stop it! White people got me so upset I forgot I got a whole nother segment to go in today's show. Stop it! Just stop it! The coronavirus update for the day. A lot of ground to cover here, so we'll do this quickly in our next to last segment. The Democrats have advanced from the House this nearly $2 trillion coronavirus relief bill. And I don't care how many times we go through this, many of us, since it is our money, keep hoping at some point saner minds will prevail. We keep hoping that at some point when the folks we have elected to serve us in our nation's capital say they have a certain bill, and this is how much of your money it's going to cost, everything in the bill will be related to what we're taking money from you to pay for. Well, that day has not arrived as of yet. I am sad to tell you. At least $312 billion. $312 billion with a B as in bunny. Totally unrelated to pandemic relief. Now, I guess you could make the argument, in the grand scheme of things, for Congress to spend right at $2 trillion and only have $312 billion in something totally unrelated to pandemic relief, even though we're calling it the COVID-19 relief bill. I guess you could make the argument Clarence, it could have been a hell of a lot worse. They're asking for $2 trillion. It could have been $1.5 trillion that had nothing to do with pandemic relief. But this sort of stuff is why we feel about Congress the way we do. $312 billion in policies that have absolutely nothing to do with coronavirus relief. It is a sign of what you and I have allowed the federal government to become. I mean, think back to the last couple of big spending bills. When you find out $15 million of your dollars is going to Pakistan for gender studies programs, it tells you something's rotten in Denmark. Now we come to find out of this nearly $2 trillion coronavirus relief bill, there's a $110 billion expansion of the child tax credit. There's a $23 billion expansion of the earned income tax credit to childless adults for 1 year. There's an $8 billion expansion of the child care and dependent care tax credit. You're going to love this one. A $54 billion provision expanding the minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2025. What the hell does that have to do with coronavirus relief? And the list doesn't stop there. Over and over and over and over again, $9 billion provision allowing states to expand Medicaid coverage for prisoners close to relief and for pregnant and postmortem women for 5 years. In the coronavirus relief bill, of course, now that is Congress, and as we have said God knows how many times, that's what happens when you get addicted to opium. No, not the opium from the professor at yesterday's show. Other people's money, OPM. $2 trillion more. Meanwhile, we find out that, okay, we finally got coronavirus vaccines, finally rolled them out. Folks are starting to get the shots now. Some outlets now are telling us, well, we may be approaching the point of turning the corner on this thing, kind of start to get it under control a little bit. So the first thing that most people want to know is, okay, when can I get rid of these freaking masks? I'm glad you asked that question, because it ain't going to be any time soon, Hoss. Dr. Anthony Fauci this week coming out and saying, y'all might need to wear those masks into 2022. You heard me right. The spokesperson for the whole American government's assault on COVID-19, Dr. Anthony Fauci, speaking Sunday on CNN's State of the Union, that we may need to wear masks into the year 2022 to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Reporter anchor Dana Bash, quote, "You and the president have suggested that we'll approach normality toward the end of the year. what does normal mean? Do you think Americans will still be wearing masks, for example, in 2022? His response, I think that's possible. That's the case. It depends on what you mean by normality. She interjects, right, that's what I want you to define, normality. He continues, quote, it's important because if normality means exactly the way things were before we had this to happen to us, I can't predict. Obviously, I think we'll have a significant degree of normality beyond what the terrible burden that all of us have been through over the last year as we get into the fall and the winter by the end of the year. I agree with the president completely that we will be approaching a degree of normality. It may or may not be precisely the way it was in November of 2019, but much, much better than what we're doing right now. So then she asked again, because she's probably sitting there like I was and said, what the hell did you just say? Will you answer the question? She interjects. So why do you think Americans might have to wear masks into 2022? His reply, because it depends on the level of dynamics of virus that's in the community. And that's really important because that gets back to something, again, you said. If you see the level coming down really, really very low, I want it to keep going down to a baseline that's so low there's virtually no threat. It will never be zero, but a minimal threat that you'll be exposed to from someone who's infected. So if you combine getting most of the people in the country vaccinated with getting the level of virus in the community very, very low, then I believe you're going to be able to say, for the most part, we don't necessarily have to wear masks, but if we have a level of virus that is at the level where it was months and months ago, then that's a different story. Suffice it to say, y'all, it's going to be around for a while. If the government has its way, go ahead and stockpile up on your masks because 2022, a distinct possibility. And, of course, since this is the government that we're talking about here, there's the distinct possibility the closer we get to 2022, the more you're going to hear, well, see, what had happened was we should have said 2023, but, we were trying to give people hope and, Jesse said, keep hope alive, so we were trying to just relate to y'all. Don't be surprised in the least. Meanwhile, speaking of COVID-19, we now find out, and I will be the first to acknowledge up front, that this, quote, study has its limitations, primarily due to the circumstances under which the study was conducted. But we now find out that the attendance at sporting events in recent memory, particularly the NCAA and NFL games around the country, did not contribute to an increase in COVID-19, the spreading of COVID-19. Now, let's understand something here. When you are conducting a study of this sort and you look at the circumstances, most arenas only at 10%, 25%, no more than 30%. Obviously, fewer people spread out, not in such close proximity, your results are going to be skewed in that direction. But it's good to see some headway in that regard. Despite all the doom and gloom that was forecast, they're putting people putting their lives in jeopardy trying to make a few dollars. Well, now we find out that that wasn't the case after all. Yet something else to make you go, All right, now that I've been calmed down from white people getting me all upset, stop it, just stop it. We're finally up to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Let me get this out of the way, come back while we're thinking about it, and I'll have time to share this with you when we get back. Y'all might want to go out and invest in some cows. Yeah, cows. Moo, that kind of cow. Yeah, I'll tell you why when we come back to wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Cantea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Cantea, your Italian dining will change forever.
We're making 2021 the year of savings, and it starts right now at Team Toyota. Come get a new 21 Corolla for just $189 a month, or get a 20 Camry for just $19,995. It's a year full of savings starting right now, right here at Team Toyota.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Marty, you didn't tell me. Am I supposed to lean all the way to the...
Stop being like Bill.
Stop being like Bill Profita, right? If you think back, I want to say it was week and a half ago. In the midst of one of our conversations, I mentioned to you that I have figured out this whole Save the Planet climate change scam and how it's all about control. Remember me telling you this? These folks want to control where you can live, where you can work, what you can drive, what you can eat, every aspect of your life from beginning to end. And if you do it in the right way, if you can scare the bejesus out of people, particularly with something that you cannot touch, taste, see, or smell, they don't have to take your rights. You give them to them. You will gladly, in an effort to quote, "Oh, please, almighty state, save us from ourselves. Tell us what we must do to save the planet for the children." You've heard it ad nauseum. And every now and then, again, when you listen to people and pay attention to what they're saying, you find out who they really are. See, y'all got to understand something here. In this country, the most underappreciated trait in all of humankind is the ability to listen. Y'all don't listen. Most of you hear what you want to hear. Others, you're not really listening. You're only waiting for the other person's lips to stop moving so you can interject your point. But you never truly listen. And it is a proven biological fact. You cannot talk and listen at the same time. You can't do it. You cannot talk and listen at the same time. So we have forsaken in this country the art, and it truly is an art, the art of listening. Recently, Marty just said, huh? Huh? What say, bro? Recently, in an interview with Technology Review, Bill Gates, discussing his new book, quote, How to Avoid a Climate Disaster, emphasized the benefits of rich nations moving solely to consuming 100% synthetic beef. Quote, I do think all rich countries should move to 100% synthetic beef. You can't make this up. He continues, you can get used to the taste difference. And the claim is they're going to make it taste even better over time. The founder of Microsoft, who apparently now knows, because of his wealth, everything there is to know about everything on planet Earth, both past, present, and future, says we need to shift rich countries to only consuming synthetic beef. But now remember, when we started this exercise, I told you, if you listen and pay attention, you find out what they're really all about. And if you remember even further, if you were listening, stop talking and listen. If you remember, I told you, this is all about control. Where you can live, where you can work, what you can drive, what you can eat, what you can drink, the whole nine. Later, in the same interview, Bill Gates let it slip. Quote, eventually, the green premium is modest enough so that you can sort of change the behavior of people or use regulation to totally shift the demand. So for meat in the middle income and above countries, I do think it's possible. Listen to this again. Eventually, that green premium is modest enough, meaning the money you can make is enough to the point where you can then change the behavior of people. And when you can't change it through monetary incentives, well, then we can pass laws. We can, quote, use regulation to totally shift the demand, end of quote. I am not a betting man. Never have been, never will be. That's just who I am. But how much you want to bet that while Bill Gates has you, Me, Marty, sitting there with a steaming plate full of plant-based imitation synthetic beef. How much you want to bet old Bill's gonna have him a big old T-bone fresh off the grill on his plate? Any takers? Didn't think so. This is not about saving the planet, y'all. This is about control. I say again, his words, not mine. Eventually, that green premium is modest enough that you can sort of change the behavior of people or use regulation to totally shift the demand. Those are his words, not mine. So you can't accuse me of, man, you putting words in that man's mouth. Let me tell you something, y'all. You want to see a fight? Put something on my plate. And I go, man, Marty, that's a good-looking T-bone. Yeah, but it ain't meat, bruh. The hell you mean it ain't meat? It's plant-based. You want to see a fight? Tune in to the Clarence Bug Show the day after that happens. Me and Marty rearranging furniture up in here. But old Bill, with all that money, he got to know everything there is to know on the planet, huh? Don't you think? Yeah, you got the money. Yeah, right. Uh-huh. Well, I tell you what, Bill. You and that plant-based horse you rode in here on, both of y'all know what y'all can do. Just saying. Get your mind out the gutter. You can go buy a cow. That's what I was thinking. Wink, wink. You got to learn to listen, America. You got to learn to listen and pay attention. See, social media has given y'all a platform to talk. There's nothing wrong with talking. But if all you ever do is talk and you never shut your yapper and listen and pay attention, all you are is a talking fool. End of discussion. Listen, America. Listen. That being said, my time's up. And I gotta go. I got tired of doing it so fast, Marty. I thought I'd start a little early this time around. This day, just like any other, I'm reluctant somewhat, but I still have to give it to you. You're right. America, in no ways perfect. But doggone it, for this old boy's money, it's still the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Then again, it don't really matter, because there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. We're off tomorrow. See you Thursday. God bless.